Welcome to the Women's Motorsports Network podcast, the show that puts the spotlight on the incredible women who fuel the world of motorsports. From drivers to crew members, engineers to fans, and everyone in between, we're here to celebrate the trailblazers, dreamers, and doers shaping the sport we love. Each episode, we share inspiring stories of females of all ages, from every corner of the motorsports universe, past, present, and future. It's a journey through the seasons of life filled with heartfelt moments, laughter, and a whole lot of horsepower. So whether you're a lifelong fan, a racer yourself, or simply curious about the extraordinary women behind the wheel, settle in, relax, and enjoy a fun and uplifting ride with us. This is the Women's Motorsports Network podcast, connecting and celebrating women in motorsports, one story at a time. Let's hit the track. Hello, everyone. This is Melinda Russell with the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. And my guest today is Jewell Crandell. And Jewell is probably a lot warmer today than I am because she's in California and I'm in Michigan. And it's blowing snow, Jewell. This week, the lows are going to be in the teens and that. And so maybe I should just come and visit. We could do this in person. But either way, I'm glad to have you on the show today. So welcome to the show. Would you please start by just sharing a little bit about yourself so we can get to know you a little bit better?
Yeah. So my name's Jewell. I'm 23. I was born and raised in California, the Bay Area. So I'm about an hour and a half from San Francisco. I live in Oakley with my boyfriend. We have cats. I also have chickens. We kind of live on a little bit of property, so I'm looking to get some farm animals here in the future. I met my boyfriend at the racetrack, and we've been together for 3.5 years, and he's my best friend. And I work as a hairstylist, probably 15 minutes from where I live, so I don't have a commute at all, but I've been doing that for about a year and a half, and I love it. It's the best job in the world.
Yeah, you know, one thing about your hairstylist, and I have a nail tech too, two different people, they become family. You know, like I see my hairstylist once a month now, but I've known her for, almost 20 years. And I've watched her have babies and just, you know, all the things. And same with my nail tech. And you just develop a relationship with somebody, don't you? And you do that with your clients.
Yeah, I love my clients and I love it's more of a friendship than it is like client hairstylist. And I think that's one of the best parts of the job. You get to be very personable with everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of like it is to be a race car person, isn't it? We have our race family and you have your clients and they all kind of become family, don't they, for sure?
Oh yeah, so, 100%.
100%. So Jewell, you met your boyfriend at the racetrack. How'd you get involved in motorsports? And, you know, we're just going to kind of talk a little bit about your story. So tell us what your story is.
So I've been going to the racetrack since as long as I can remember. My dad tells me that they started taking me when I was just a baby. And he's been going way before I was even a thought. And just started off in the stands, just watching and hanging out. And he has a bunch of best friends that race, and he would always go in the pits to help them. And when I got old enough to go into the pits, because, you know, back then, they had an age where little kids couldn't be in the pits just for safety reasons. And when I got old enough, he started taking me with him, and me and my dad are best friends. So we just went everywhere together. And so I started going along with him in the pits, and his friends had kids the same age as me. We all started hanging out. We rode our bikes. We just did, you know, everything. And my friends got old enough to race their own cars, and they started in box stocks, the little mini sprint cars, little go-karts. And I was like, I want to do that. And my dad, you know, of course, was, overprotective. He didn't want me to do that. But one day we were with our friends. They were racing their go-karts out in Dixon. And after the races, they let me hot lap one of their little box stocks. So I did that, and I was about probably 9, 10 maybe. And after that, I was like, this is what I want to do. And of course, my dad's like, oh, Dixon's, like at least an hour away from us. Like, he just wasn't about it. And of course, my mom didn't want anything to do with it. And so I just kept going, watching my friends, watching my dad's friends. And then my favorite driver growing up, Natalie Perry, she also raced hobby stock. She had a passenger seat in her car. And so when I got to the age of 13, 14, when you were allowed to finally get into it, she let me ride passenger with her. And it was the best experience of my life. It was such an adrenaline rush. And to be with another woman was just amazing. And that was probably 2013, 2014. And there wasn't many women drivers out there. There was probably 2 or 3 on the track with us. And I just felt so empowering because, you see just men winning all the time. It's never women. And to be a part of that was just like so life-changing to me. And so I rode with her for a few years. And then finally I graduated. I was in college. I was 18. And we saw a car for sale. And my brother talked to my dad into getting it for me. And so that was a 4-banger. And then it turned out to have a lot more problems than we were anticipating. So we sold that before I got to race it. And our friend who also races had a car that was race ready to go. So he ended up sponsoring me that car. And that's how I started. We got it ready in 1 week in probably April, May of 2020. It was all during COVID. And me and my dad got it ready in 1 week. And my first race ever was a 2-day show at Antioch Speedway. And I remember it so vividly. I was so nervous. I was so excited. And it was just, I couldn't have asked for a better first race, I think.
Yeah. I see the passion on your face, and I know this is a podcast, so some people will be able to see that if they watched on YouTube, but I can also hear it in your voice. How excited you were to be on that racetrack.
Oh, yeah. It for the longest time that it was just my dream. And I talk about it all the time to anyone. I'm just like, I've been around this my whole life. This is all like I've wanted to do. And it's just so fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can't explain it to somebody unless they experience it, can you?
Exactly.
Yeah. So what are you doing now?
Well, I mean, it's the off season, so we're kind of trying to get my car ready to go.
What kind of car is it?
It's a hobby stock. So our class is supposed to be like the stock cars, the stock of race cars in general. But as the years have moved on, we've kind of progressed into kind of more of modified stock cars. So in our class, we have Camaros, we have Monte Carlos, we have Novas. We don't have a sanction, kind of like the IMCA. So we kind of have more freedom of what we can and can't do. I have a Camaro. I have a brand new rebuilt Camaro that I got redone last year. And me and my boyfriend, we both have Camaros. We both love the leaf springs. We like, old school. But, it's fun to have the more of the newer stuff, the modified, the coil springs, all that stuff. But like just keeping it stock and old school it's where it all started.
Yeah.
And, Camaros have pretty much died everywhere else
Yeah.
besides California. We
Yeah.
have so many Camaros here that we could literally make a whole class just of Camaros, which would be so fun, but
Yeah.
it's also a risk, but
So where do you race? Do you typically race at one track or do you travel?
my home track is Antioch Speedway.
Okay.
And it's so convenient. It's 30 minutes down the road. So that's where I primarily race. But last year we branched out. I went up to Petaluma Speedway, which is an hour and a half away, but loved it. It was so fun. Also went down to Ocean Speedway, which is Watsonville, and that's kind of by Gilroy. So that's more of a 2 hours away kind of thing. But that was super fun. Um, and I'm hoping to be able to go over to like Stockton Dirt Track. I kind of want to go to Placerville, Merced. I want to go to Bakersfield, but that's kind of far for me. But hoping to travel more this year, but we'll see. We don't have like set plans yet.
Okay. So do you and your boyfriend race each other, or are you in the same class?
Yes, we're in the same class. We do race each other. Um, actually, what year was that? Probably 2021. We were both racing, and I didn't know him. He didn't know me. But I accidentally gave him a little bump. Um, gave him just a little,
Little love
and
pat.
yeah. And, Robin's racing. So,
Sure.
of course, I felt bad, but I didn't think anything of it. But he did, and he remembered it. And our first conversation, he brought that up and was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you hit me, a couple weeks ago, and sent me a video of it. And I was like, oh, yeah, sorry about that. I didn't mean to. And that's kind of what sparked me and him.
That's so fun. So fun. So are you really competitive with each other when you're on the track?
Oh, definitely. I think that from my perspective, I'm the most competitive with him. If he's next to me, if he's around me, he's 100% my competition. I don't worry about anyone else but him. And I actually got my first win last year, and he he got second place to me. And I remember I was racing with someone else and I wasn't worried about it. Like I had it in the bag. And then I saw him knocking on my door and I was like, great, now I'm going to lose it. Like he's going to take it from me. But thankfully I held on to it and I got my first win on my birthday. So it was great.
Oh, maybe that was your birthday present.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
I don't think guys, no matter if it's your birthday or not, I don't think they're probably going to just let you win the race. But anyway, that's pretty cool for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. So, what's your vision for your racing? Is it something that you want to like continue this, um, kind of a car and then move up to something else? Or kind of what are your plans? Let's say 5 years from now, what would you like to be doing?
I definitely Well, I mean, I 100%, if I could make this my career, that would be my dream. But it's really hard and I don't have any expectations for that. But I definitely want to move up. I would like to move up to an IMCA Sport Mod,
Hmm.
and then from that, an IMCA Modified. But I don't have any expectations kind of just because racing is a very expensive hobby. Um, and right now that's kind of like me and my dad's thing. That's what we do. And he funds pretty much all of my racing. He's the car owner of my car. I'm the driver. And that's like our thing we do together. And that's kind of what my focus is now is just doing it with my dad. That's our thing. Hopefully, probably in the future, it'll be me and my boyfriend's thing.
Hmm.
My dream is to have a stacker where we can put both our cars on it and go race together.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate dream. but definitely in 5 years, I want to be out of hobby stocks into some kind of IMCA, whether if it's a stock car, sport mod, or modified. And I would love to be going to Boone for the Super Nationals. I would
Oh
love to
yeah.
go to Winter Nationals. Anything. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. Those are so fun, and you meet such good people, for
Oh,
sure.
yes. It
Yeah.
turns into family for sure.
I haven't been to Boone, but I know people that have been, and they just said it's crazy good. Crazy good.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
not, I mean, that wouldn't be terribly far for me to go. I live in Michigan, so I may have to put that on my bucket list because I do know some people that race there. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's pretty fun. So it's the off season. What do you do in the off season? Are you working on your car, or it's pretty good shape? You don't really have to be. You're kind of taking a little time off. What are you doing?
This year I got lucky. My car it's pretty good. Fred Baker, who rebuilt my car, he made sure everything was good, and so we kind of just are doing maintenance right now. Um, we're gonna tear the body down, put a new body on it. Um, we sent my steering box back to get it worked on, but everything else is it's pretty good. I've been focusing on work pretty much right
Yeah.
now, just because when it's race season, I have to take most weekends off.
Yeah.
So right now, I've just been working every weekend. During the holiday season, it gets super busy.
Right.
Um, but we've kind of just been taking some time off,
Yeah. That's
because
good.
I think next year it's going to be super busy. We're thinking about trying to go for a championship this year now, I guess, but we're not sure. Just
Yeah.
because when you focus on that kind of things, you kind of lose sight of it being fun.
Yes.
But we'll see. I don't
I
know.
was going to say that. I was going to, and I'm all about, if you want to go for a championship, you should do it. But I do think that it's kind of either I'm going to go for the championship and be really serious about everything, or I'm going to just kind of take it easy, have fun, and if I win, I win, and that kind of thing. Because I don't care how old you are, if you're a little kid, if you're 80 years old, you want to make sure that you're still having fun. And going for the championship can be fun, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot more um, pressure, a lot more
Oh, yeah.
pressure. And I would want to more just want to have fun for sure. That would be my, but I'm pretty competitive, so I don't know how that would end up for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so race season, especially you're working, it can be busy, it can be overwhelming. So how do you manage work, racing, and then taking care of yourself? We have to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves too, and you have to get good rest and eat right and all those things. So how do you manage all of that?
I think having a good support system
Mm-hmm.
is one of the biggest things. I am so lucky. My work, my bosses, my girls at my salon, they support me so much. They come watch me race. They sponsor my car. I have my salon on my car. So that helps a lot. Um, you know, just taking that time during the week or even on Sunday or even Monday, taking that time to just reflect, um, kind of just meditate, I guess, is kind of what I do. And I make sure that I have time to myself. Otherwise, you get burnout.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, you're like, you don't want to sit there and be like, man, I don't want to go to the track. You
Yeah.
want to go, you want it to be fun. And so that's kind of for me. And sometimes I do find myself being like, I don't feel like working on my car. I don't feel like racing, mostly when it's 100 degrees in California.
Sure.
But I just take time for myself. I like to watch the videos from the most recent race. We sit and we watch the film. We see what we could have done better on, because there's always room for improvement. Um, but yeah, I think that's the same for my boyfriend too. We all just like to sit and watch our videos, and we relax, and we make a game plan for what the week is to come.
Okay. That's good. That's good. I like to hear you say that you sit and relax, because that has to be part of it for sure. So on race day, do you have like a certain routine? Are you superstitious? Do you have certain food you eat or music you listen to? Anything like that?
I used to religiously have Red Bull before race day, but I am one of those people that I get so nervous that I make myself sick.
Mm-hmm.
And the Red Bulls didn't help with that.
No.
So I would find myself sitting in staging, getting ready to go out, and I just have these cramps, my stomach's upset, and I'm freaking out. And I'm like, oh my God. So I had to cut that out.
Yeah.
But I make sure to eat before, otherwise, my stomach will get upset. And I think for me, I like to wear certain socks on race day. I wear my like high socks um, underneath my fire suit. And I always have a race shirt on, whether it's my boyfriend's, one of our friends. I always have it on. In all my pictures, I always have a race shirt on. And that's just me. And for my boyfriend, they actually have a lucky Mudbuster wheel that they put on his car, and it out of every color, his colors are blue and white. The Mudbuster's yellow. It's mustard yellow. And so every time he's out, he has it on. And I'd say 8 times out of 10, he's either in the winner's circle or he's in top 5. So I guess that's working for him, and I think I need to take some notes from them.
Yeah, for sure. But don't get mustard yellow.
No, right. I'm going to get probably purple or pink.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Oh gosh. So what's your favorite part about being involved in motorsports?
Honestly, I love the camaraderie between everyone. That's one of my favorite things. I've made some really good friends in racing. Um, my best friends, they're all in racing, and they're all girls. I have the best friends, and I love seeing the kids,
Mhm.
because I was one of those kids.
Right.
And I remember my favorite driver when I was younger, she signed my arm, and I was like, oh my God, I'm never washing this arm. I was like, this is liquid gold. This is the best thing ever. And so if I can make another kid feel that way, that's like my job's done. That's
Yeah,
the best feeling in the world.
that's awesome. So you've been involved in motorsports a little while. How do you feel it's maybe changed you or shaped you into who you are based on maybe if you hadn't been involved in motorsports? What's been, an effect, something that's affected you, good or bad?
I think it's given me another perspective um, between like the women and male fields, because, you don't really think about that, or you don't notice it.
Mhm.
But when I'm watching Super Nationals on my TV, like literally 98% of the field, it's all men. It's all men. And when I see a girl, whether I know them or not, I just get so excited. And I kind of see that in a different light when I see a bunch of other things. I'm looking for the women. I'm looking for,
People that look like you.
yes, exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. And I never thought of it in that way until I started being a part of it. And even when I was just a kid in the stands watching, whether I knew the girls or not, I was cheering for them. And actually, I was watching one day, and a girl won. And my dad's like, oh, that's a girl. And I was like, yeah. And now fast forward 5 years later, she's one of my best friends.
Oh,
And
that's nice.
I know. And it's one of those things that I'm glad that it's a part of my life.
Hmm.
And I couldn't see it any other way.
Yeah. So has anybody given you advice? Your little kitty, she's going to get up on the back there and give you some advice. Has anyone given you advice that really it's like really stuck with you, or or maybe not so much, but has anybody like do you have a mentor, anything along those lines?
I feel like in racing, everyone's going to tell you what you should do, and they're trying to help you, but when it comes down to it, you're going to do what feels right. And I think the biggest thing that I've taken from people was just race your own race. And you can't worry about who's around you, you can't worry about who's behind you. And I've had so many people tell me that. And that's probably the biggest thing that I've taken. Also, on the track, you don't have friends, you know? And for me, I'm an empath. And when I see my friends on the track, I'm waving at them and I'm like, hey, this is so fun. And they're just going. They're not looking at me. They don't care. Just like my boyfriend said, you're not my girlfriend on the track. And I'm like, well, great. I'm glad you think that way, because when I'm next to you, I'm like, hey, love ya,
Hmm.
you know?
That's funny, but it's so true, because and I hear this all the time. We're good friends as soon as the race is over, but when we get on the track, look out, because I'm going to battle you as hard as anybody else. And I had a conversation with a littler girl, and the mom mentioned to me, not during the podcast but after, but she said, the kids all get along, it's the parents that have the issues. And so we had a little conversation about that, but not during the podcast. But it's so true. It's like you want to be competitive and you want to do the best you can and all those things. And yet those friendships off the track, they mean everything for sure.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And, everybody, emotions are heightened when you're racing. And whether they mean to wreck you or not, you're going to be upset.
Mm-hmm.
And after you calm down, then you're like, you know what, that's part of racing, like you can't hold it against someone. You signed up for that. And that's why you wear all that protective gear.
Exactly.
It's bound to happen.
Yeah. So, when you first started racing, I'm sure there were a few girls maybe racing, but how were you treated? Were you just accepted? And even now when you race, the guys just accept you as another racer, or, are there, sometimes it's the older men that have a problem with the girls racing, not the younger guys. So have you ever run into anything along those lines?
Oh, yeah. And 100%, it's definitely the older men. I got lucky. I started racing during COVID. And there was probably 5 or 6 other kids. I was 19, 18, and they were, probably in their teens as well, that started racing. And, you're a rookie. Everyone's going to beat on you. Everyone's going to go around you. But definitely being a girl, they beat on you a little bit more because they know, like, oh, yeah, they'll move out of my way. And I did. And everybody's like, you can't let them do that to you because that's what they want. And, I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then I started fighting back. And once you learn how to trust your car, I started fighting back, and they started leaving me alone because, once they put that helmet on, they don't care what they do to you. But once you're out of that car, oh, they're scared of you. They won't even walk up to you.
Yeah.
But
I love that.
oh, yeah, 100%. And they did beat on me, and they do that. And I stopped taking the crap, and I am a hothead myself, and I will give them gestures if I'm feeling a certain way, mostly if they're sitting there beating on me.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to take that. And once you assert that dominance with them, they'll leave you alone
Yeah.
because then
Once
they're
they know
like,
they can't push you around anymore, then they'll try to
yes,
push somebody else around. That's for sure. Yeah.
exactly. And it's like, just because I'm a girl, it doesn't mean I'm afraid of you.
Yeah.
Like, it does not matter to me.
Right. Right. Oh, good answers. Good answers for sure. So, I'm assuming you use social media.
Yes.
So, how do you use it? And then, if we wanted to follow you or follow your, you know, what you do during the season and how you're doing, where do you post and share that with us?
So I have an Instagram, Facebook, and I do have a TikTok. My Instagram is Jewell JEWWELL My Facebook is just Jewell Crandel, and my TikTok is Jewell.xo. And I post a variety of things on all my platforms. I love TikTok especially. I love making video compilations of racing. It's so fun. On Facebook, I post about my season. After every race, I give a recap. And I do thank every single one of my sponsors on all my posts for helping out throughout the season.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, and then we passed over it about your sponsors. Is it something you want to share who your sponsors are? You don't have any yet for the season, or if you want to share, you can. And then I love hearing that you thank them every time. That's great.
Oh, yeah. I would not be where I am without any of them. I have my reoccurring sponsors that I have every year, but I always have room for more. They're everything that anyone helps, it helps so much. Racing is a very expensive sport. My number one sponsor is my dad, Edward Crandel. I wouldn't be where I am without him. My boyfriend's dad, Dave Baca, he is right next to my dad. He's my second dad. Fred Baker at BRC Race Cars, he transformed my life. I would not have been in the winner's circle without him. My boyfriend, Grayson Baca, he, is right up there with our dads.
Uh-huh.
Delta Transmission, Delta Graphics, Al Johnson, Contra Costa Mobile Repair, Vamp Salon, all the girls at my work.
Yeah.
My work account is Beauty by Jewell, so I'll be posting all of my hair on there. All spec sheet metal. They give me my bodies. They help out with that. Who else? Let's see. J. Cole Recovery, Alma House. There's so many people that help out. Charlie Bryant, Bubba Bryant, the whole Bryant family, Marty Logan, Robert Cameron, there's so many people that make everything go together, and
Yeah.
I would not be able to do it without them.
Yeah. I appreciate that you listed them because that'll mean a lot to them. We can't do it alone. Just absolutely can't do it alone. And those people don't realize that big or small, whatever they do to help, it's a huge help.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, Jewell, what have we not talked about today that we should have mentioned about yourself, your story, anything at all?
We've kind of touched base on pretty much everything. I think the biggest message that I want people to hear is that it doesn't matter if you're a girl, you can do anything. And when I came across your page and everything you do, I was like starstruck. I was like, this is amazing because there's not enough recognition for the women out there, and women can do anything men can do. I'm a firm believer of that, and I'll always believe that. And that's kind of the
That's
biggest
good.
thing. Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that you're not going to let anybody stop you just because you're a female.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We I tell everybody that, you put that helmet on, nobody knows if it's a girl or a boy driving that car. So you just put that helmet on and you just go for it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Jewel, thank you for spending time with me today. And what's your kitty's name?
Oh, that one was Chevy.
Chevy. Okay. Well, Chevy
Yeah.
wanted to be on the show. And so that was cute that he was pouncing around back there behind you. So he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate the time that you spent with me today. I hope you have an excellent season this year. I'm going to be following. So the best way for you to keep track with me is to tag Women's Motorsports Network. So tag me when you post, and that way it'll come up in my feed, and I'll be able to keep track of you easier. And any last words, anything at all, and then if not, I'll let you go.
Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for everything that you do for the women. And I know we've been meaning to do one of these for a while.
We have.
And we finally got to it, and I'm just very grateful, thankful, and I'm full of gratitude for everything. So thank you.
Well, I really appreciate that very much. And so let's make sure we stay in touch, okay?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right. Thank you, Jewel.
Thank you.
That's it for this episode of the Women's Motorsports Network podcast. We hope you've been inspired by the stories I shared today and feel more connected to the amazing community of women in motorsports. Remember, whether you're behind the wheel, in the pits, or cheering from the stands, your story matters. And together, we're driving change and celebrating every milestone. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who loves motorsports as much as you do. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and more incredible stories. So until next time, stay inspired, stay connected, and keep racing through life. This is the Women's Motorsports Network podcast, where every woman's story is worth celebrating.